Okay, so I gave a musician a Portacapture with no explanation, and this is what happened. Okay, so first of all, this video is brought to you by the wonderful Evan Diamond. If you've been on my channel before, then you've probably seen her around. She's a musician, she's a professional musician, she is amazingly talented, and she was kind enough to agree to help me out with this video. So I will have links for her in the description below. Please go check them out. Thank you. Okay, so just some background to what we're doing here. Evan is a full-time musician. She has a bunch of studio experience, so she's seen recording environments before. She's seen Pro Tools a whole bunch. She's learned the basics on Pro Tools. With that said, she has not used the Portacapture itself before, which is a different device. And you know, Tascam sent me this device, the Portacapture X6, and I was trying to think about what we could do with it, what kind of fun we could have with it. And I know there tend to be like two probably main categories that people tend to use this specific device for. So either like field recording and collecting sounds for things like sound design, or incorporating sounds from the field into whatever you're working on, whether that's music or film or what have you. And another common use for it is when musicians use it to record their performances, right? So this video is all about the musicians' use case and what the experience is like to use this device as a musician, and especially as a musician that has not been trained on how to use it. So to be honest, I was in a huge rush to leave for New York at the end of June, right? And I'm figuring out everything that has to go on for me to get to New York and do this condensed grad school term that I did in July. Now it's August. It's the beginning of August now, so I'm back here in San Diego. But I was in this huge rush to get everything done before I left, and I was, I didn't have enough time. No one ever has enough time, right? And I had Evan stop by to pick up this Tascam, and then I also borrowed a little tiny MIDI keyboard from her. So thank you, Evan, for letting me borrow that. But because we were all tired and in a rush and everything, I kind of just gave her the device with like an SD card and some batteries and stuff. It comes with batteries, I think. So it's not like I went out and got batteries for it or anything. But I did not take the time to go through all the different settings with her and all the different options and how to use everything. She understands how to read a meter and make sure she's not clipping. And again, she's not like totally without any knowledge about how recording works, right? But she's your typical musician, right? So she's not specialized in recording the way that I am or a lot of other engineers are. So I gave her this device and I was like, do something with it, have fun with it, see what you think, see how it goes. And this is the result, what I'm going to play for you. So I thought it was really interesting when the footage did come back to see, what features she found interesting and useful as a musician, what her experience was like as a first-time user of the Portacapture as a musician, and I thought maybe some other people would as well. Plus, she took what she collected and imported it into Pro Tools so she could play for us what she got out of it, so we can actually hear how the sound quality and everything turned out with a musician running the show, right? So I thought that might be interesting and that you all might want to see it and hear it. So without any further ado, I guess I'll just hit play on it and let me know what you think.
Hi, it's Evan, and I am here with a little video for you. Now, this is all about an experiment that I did a few weeks ago at one of my gigs, where I took the Tascam X6, which is one of their portable field recorders, and I wanted to test out how easy it would be for someone like me that doesn't have a lot of live recording experience to take this field recorder, record my songs, and then bring it home to my DAW and turn it into something that I might want to release. Now, to do this, I was using my Fishman Loudbox Artist, and I used the channels 1 and 2 on the back. Those are DI outs pre-EQ, and I ran those directly into the Tascam X6. Then I was able to use the manual record setting and record the songs that I played. So another thing to mention is I use live looping in my solo sets, which is what I was doing at this gig. And that can be a bit difficult to record because you have, in my instance, both a guitar and a drum pad going into the same channel. So that was another fun thing to be able to experiment. And I do want to note the Tascam. There's a couple cool things about it. Well, there's lots of cool things about it, but there's a couple cool things about it that it just inherently does. one of those is it takes those two individual tracks where I did my instrument and my vocals, and it also will sum those into a mix. And it just does that for you. Another thing that it does is you can see in this highlighted track, there's an F on the end of it. It gives you a 32-bit float track as well. Now we're going to listen to some snippets that I chopped up and put together. Here, the first is the instrument with no plugins at all. Now that's just a little bit of noodling that I did before I actually started the song. So now you're going to get to hear both the guitar and the drums recorded. Awesome. Now we're going to take a little look at the vocals, and I recorded the vocals on the Tascam TM82, which is their handheld mic. It's also what I'm using to record this voiceover. And again, no plugins on these. We'll get to plugins later.
These next two are some original songs off of my my second EP. Etch your name on my heart, leave a scar, but don't tear me apart. I'm letting you in.
Awesome. So that was both some talking that I did before the song and then me singing along with the loop track. And I wanted to include the talking portion because I've found when I do try to do quote unquote live recording at my gigs, which is generally using the voice memo app or something like that on my phone, unless the room is completely dead and there's no one there, you get a ton of ambient or audience sound. Whereas in this section that I showed, even though it was short, really the only other noise that's being picked up by the mic is the noodling that I'm doing on the guitar. So I thought that that was really cool. You could still hear a little bit of kind of the hum of there being people there because it was a pretty busy day, but it gives you more of that live feel without people's conversations intruding on the actual recording. And now we'll listen to the mix.
Etch your name on my heart, leave a scar, but don't tear me apart. I'm letting you in. I'm falling for you in every little piece. Don't remember when I let myself fall this deep. Whoa.
Awesome. So that was the mix. And now we've listened to the tracks with all the plugins bypassed. So that means we're going to listen to them now with them not bypassed. I do want to preface by saying I'm not a professional. I just kind of wing it. I try to get it to a point that it sounds nice to me. And so what I'm doing for plugins here is I have a compressor on all the tracks, as well as some EQ and the beautiful Valhalla Supermassive. You'll notice there are two EQs on the instrument track and the mix. And that is because I am recording both guitar and drums into my Boss RC300 loop station. And so I just wanted a little bit more control over the highs and the lows. Whereas just on the vocal track, you just have the one EQ. And then I essentially just copy pasted the plugins and their settings from the instrument track onto the mix. Something I think that is also worth mentioning is using the manual record mode on the Tascam X6. You do have control over the gain and levels of the tracks you're recording. I didn't spend a ton of time with those because I mainly just wanted to get it to a point that I could hear myself as I was recording with headphones and see that I was getting a good deal of signal coming in without clipping or without being too quiet. So when it gets summed to the mix, it is definitely quieter than just the individual instrument and vocal tracks. But if you do spend the time and get your gain and levels where you want it, I don't think you would have that issue. All right, so now we're going to listen to all the tracks with their plugins on. And as I said, I'm not a professional. I mostly utilize the presets that Pro Tools has on these plugins, but I am really happy with the sounds that I was able to get. And we're going to start off by listening to the instruments. And then just for context, here's the instruments again with the plugins bypassed. Awesome. Yeah, you can definitely tell the difference. As I said, these were recorded pre-EQ, so just tossing on those EQ plugins really helped. And now let's listen to the vocals.
Etch your name on my heart, leave a scar, but don't tear me apart. I'm letting you in. I'm falling for you in every little piece. Don't remember when I let myself fall this deep. Whoa.
And now let's listen to the mix.
Etch your name on my heart, leave a scar, but don't tear me apart. I'm letting you in. I'm falling for you in every little piece. Don't remember when I let myself fall this deep. Whoa.
And lastly, let's listen to the individual vocal and instrumental tracks together as my own mix.
Etch your name on my heart, leave a scar, but don't tear me apart. I'm letting you in. I'm falling for you in every little piece. Don't remember when I let myself fall this deep. Whoa.
All right, so there you have it. Those were the tracks that I recorded live with the Tascam X6. I'm really happy with how these all turned out. I think that if there's one thing that I might change, it would be just lowering the vocals a little bit on the individual track. I think that where they sit in the mix track is a very nice level, but yeah, they could come down a little bit. But overall, I am just really happy with how simple it was to record these live, as well as how easy it was to import the tracks into the DAW and edit them and do all of this with them. So I'm really looking forward to doing more of this, and I hope you all enjoyed. If you want to hear the full track, definitely let me know. I will be putting my editing cap on and working on it more. And yeah, thanks so much.
Cool. So that's it. Let me know what you all think in the comments below. As always, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'd appreciate all of that stuff. And I do have a Patreon, so it's patreon.com/CatoNoise. So please go, feel free to check that out if you feel so inclined. My patrons get access to additional content. We have a Discord server we're all hanging out on. We have a book club we're running in there. It's been a lot of fun. So please feel free to check that out. And again, thank you so much to Evan Diamond for helping me with this video and Tascam. So I will have links in the description below if you want to check out Evan's stuff or check out the Portacapture. And I think other than that, I come out with new videos every Wednesday, and thank you so much for hanging out. Okay.
This is Green and Truman. Featuring Julian. You're fine.